Hey guys, what's going on? I'm here with the aftermath on the 1996 Chevy Lumina after its 4th run at San Filippo Smash. And let me tell you, this thing is done. If you guys haven't seen the grandstands footage or the GoPro footage, go watch that now. But this car is officially done and out of the Derby world now, which is what I kind of wanted. I didn't want to keep this thing over the winter, and let me tell you, I ain't keeping over the winter because she is completely done for, and you guys can kind of see it if you guys look in this area right here. She really bent bad on me, and that's why I lost the steering. Still runs and drives, it just has no steering, and quite frankly, I don't think it would have been driving much longer anyway. It was really starting to climb up in the temperature and everything, and well, let me tell you, she was certainly not feeling so good as far as parts go, and that Derby went for quite some time after that. So let's go and take a walk around this thing. We'll start on the good side of this thing, and even then the suspension is collapsed. I took a few real good wheel shots from other people. Shout out to them for making those wheel shots. Man, they were good wheel shots, and really took them this time. I was really a target, and I got hit a few times, and I got sent for a loop pretty early on, and I said, you know what, I don't care, I just want to junk this thing. So I just decided to hit whatever was in front of me, whether it was the back end, the front end, didn't care. I went ahead on with the Buick Century, and that's really when that side kicked. And I really thought this thing would have had the strength to bend that Century, but it bent it a little bit, but I don't think it hurt me more than it hurt that Century, which I was surprised about because my Century was so much weaker than any other car basically in the world. It seemed like that thing collapsed in so quickly. Anyway, back to this car. I don't want to get on a rant about the Century and the one that was years ago, but that tells you just how much resentment I still have for that car. But this back end, guys, man, does it impress me. Yeah, it's starting to come in now, but I took a few decent shots in this back end. It really didn't move. It still was tough. A lot of people were saying, man, I don't know why you're going out there with just a rim like that. And I'm like, well, that's because I think it's the best move, and honestly, I think it was the best move because you guys can still see there is clearance between the body and the Lumina, and or between the rim and the body there. I think it worked out good because this thing was still spinning, I think, towards the end there. I still had good traction, it's just I couldn't steer. And so this side, obviously, the frame is actually smushed flat on it. That's how tough this side was. I think it was just starting to kick in the frame rail underneath. I think if I look over on this side, I'll see a little bitty kink starting under here. Yeah, there it is. I can just barely see it. You probably won't even see it on video, but it's right there. My camera would focus. You can't even see it. My camera won't focus, but you really can't see it. You can feel it, but it's just starting to kink under there. So this back end still had some life left in it. Unfortunately, the front end is all out of life. This front end shot. So let's go ahead and get into the meat and the potatoes of this thing. And I do apologize for the wind. Like I said, it's quite windy today. It's officially kicked into fall mode. Yeah. Yeah, she's done. It didn't pull the CV out, just barely. It was trying to. You guys look down in there. You guys can see there all the grease and all that. It was starting to pull that CV axle out. But she wasn't quite there yet, but I tell you, couple more hits this front end and it would have pulled that CV out. It really sent this subframe to total junk really quick. And let me go ahead and show you underneath the hood. I knew she was hurt, and everybody was like, oh, that's still a real tough car, and I said, I don't know about that, and I was right, because this thing went to junk real quick in the front. Right where I thought it was going to bend, and where it was already starting to go, it bent really bad there. And where they normally kink is actually where that hole is, right there in the middle of the screen there. But that's not where this one kicked. It actually kicked a bit before that, weirdly enough, and let me tell you, she kicked hard. This side, still almost completely straight. It just kinked a little bit more, but that's about it. You guys can see there, my Ford Freestyle bumper. Everybody wanted to talk trash about the Ford Freestyle bumper, but where does that really feed in? The answer is it didn't. Like I said, I really do like these bumpers, and it just bent with the frame rail, that's all. And no, I did not hit with the very middle of it, or at least I don't think I did. And but that's the way you have to play with these rebar bumpers. But I tell you, if this was the factory bumper in this car, it would have been V'd in since day one. It would have V'd in right away. And not this Ford Freestyle bumper, though. They hold up pretty decent, I think. You just got to make smarter hits, you know, with these bumpers. But you just got to keep them on the frame rails. So anyway, lots of clearance to get this motor out, because that's right, this motor is coming out. This motor is still a good candidate for the motor. I don't know how much you guys remember it, but the motor in the other Lumina we have is blown up. It's got a bad camshaft in it. It snapped right in half. This motor still has a decent camshaft in it as far as I know. It definitely, I mean, I know it's had a blown intake gasket for a while now, so we'll have to see how that's gonna turn out. But I don't think it's too bad. There's the oil still got viscosity and everything in it, and we'll take a look at the camshaft, see if the lobes look worn or there's any sign of stress as far as heat goes. But I only got it up to about 240 degrees, which should be okay. That's not actually that much more than just this engine sitting here idling. It would get up to about 225, I think, is where the cooling fans really kick into high mode. So 240 really isn't a lot. It shouldn't have warped anything. I've had cars up to 240 degrees, and they haven't been hurt. I've had daily drivers up to 240 degrees going up hills. That was my old LeSabre. That thing always got hot when going up the hill. I think I had it almost up to 250. It was about to kick into limp mode. Why that car overheated, I don't know. I think somebody put stop leak in the cooling system, and it haunted that car from day one when it wasn't necessary. But because I had a blown intake gasket anyway. But anyway, I'm getting off on a ramble now. This car is going to have the guts ripped out of it, the motor, possibly the transmission. I'm not sure. I was a little rough on that transmission, especially a Herkimer. So we'll see about the transmission, but because I know these transmissions apparently are made out of glass. I've had terrible luck with these Ford T65E. The transmission is actually starting to act up in my Century now, and that's only got 50,000 miles. I don't know what it is. The 1997 Century I had, that had a replacement transmission in it. The Lumina, the 97 Lumina, that transmission was junk. I've had nothing but bad luck with these Ford T60Es. I've actually had much better luck with the Ford T65E, which is usually the opposite. A lot of people have better luck with the Ford T60E. But, and once again, I'm getting off in a ramble. But the car is done. It's not running again. Yes, it still runs. Could I bend it back out? Yeah, I could. But it's gonna have to wait another year, and I'm not gonna do that for this car. I got more derby cars sitting around that need to get demoed. So, and I got lots of good parts here. So there's no complaining from me. This car, some people said it was kind of a cursed car. I said, you know what? I said for 200 bucks, it got me 4 runs, and 4 decent runs at that. I mean, a third, a second, a roughly 5th or 6th, and another 5th or 6th. So, not gonna complain. It doesn't like even numbers, I guess, because the 1st and 3rd run were better, and the 2nd and the 4th run were the 5th and the 6th. So, place finishes, but still, top 6 every time. Not bad, and it's obviously a Lumina. Usually they do. And there's no complaints from me. The first time I lost in this thing was totally my fault, and that's because of that math. But in the third derby it was in when I got second, I just got hung up, couldn't make that final hit. So, our final few hits, because that car was already overheating. This car is still running great and still had good temperature, and still had good frame rails and everything. And it was definitely could have won that derby. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you heard in the video, he said that's the only way I have to win. So can't blame him at all for what he did, for sure. But this car definitely would have been a winner had I not got stuck. So I think she did me pretty well. I've definitely had worse cars, guys. So we can say goodbye to the good old 1996 Chevy Lumina. She's going to be having the guts ripped out of her, going into another Lumina. And we'll send this one off the scrap. Thank God, I got quite a bit of scrap to throw in this thing. So with that, the Lumina is officially done. And I thank all you guys for watching and staying tuned with this Lumina. It's been quite the trip. The Back in Black Lumina is finally gonna hit the sack. Little reference to that song there. So, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys all for watching, and I appreciate it. Bye-bye, everybody.